Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Franchise Show. This is the show, and I'm going to do it where we get under the hat of all things franchising. And it's a live show. Well, it's live if it's the 7th of July 2026. Would have been my dad's birthday. So happy birthday, Dad. At around 5:15 in the UK, 12:15 in bits of America. And because it's live, we love you to get involved. So please pop in a comment, say hello, and get involved in our conversations. Because I say this every week, you are the producers and the directors of this show, and our conversations go the way you wish it to go. So what do we do each week on the Franchise Show? We take a new topic and we take a lovely guest. And today we have no exception to that. We have a fantastic guest to talk about this subject today. So without further ado, let's let you know, first of all, what we're going to be talking about today. So today, the topic is why franchising, which is a great question. And we're going to be talking about why you should get involved in franchising, why you should use franchising as a model to scale your business, why franchising exists, and all those sorts of things. Now, we're going to do that with the help of a lovely chap, and it's Sukh Chamdal from Cakebox. Sukh, welcome to the Franchise Show.
Well, thank you very much for having me on.
You are absolutely welcome. It's our honor and privilege to have you with us for this chat today. So, Sukh, talk us through your sort of journey in franchising, your story, and how you've come to have such an amazing brand, and how you've really made this incredible footprint on franchising.
Well, I'm Sukh Chamdal. I'm the CEO and founder of the Cakebox. We started in 2008 on our first shop, and now we have 276 stores. And we open roughly 2 a month, and our aim is for 400. I bought a sweet company last year, and we've got another 30 of those now. So we're just over the 310 mark now.
Wow. That's amazing. I mean, you say 2 a month, like it's an easy thing to say, but that's an incredible thing to do. To be able to open 2 stores in a month. Anybody who's listening that's in our industry that knows about finding great franchisees, finding good locations, fit out, all of these things, to do that and to open 2 a month is an incredible feat. So a huge congratulations to you and your team.
So we average on 25 a year, but in the COVID years, we've done 35.
Wow. Amazing. And what sort of brought you to Cakebox? Have you yourself had a sort of a background of hospitality and
I'm a chef by trade, and I used to have an Indian sweet shop, and my family are all vegetarian. And so when your child goes, she's self-aware, and she goes, Dad, I don't want dead chickens in my cake. What do? You have to go out and get an eggless cake for her. And you don't reinvent the wheel. So all I done was, I saw someone who's doing it, and I just done it better. And he now works for me.
Oh, really?
He was the pioneer of egg-free cakes in the country. And now for the last 10 years, he's been working for me.
I really like that.
And he's my franchise manager. He goes out and finds new shops, and his co-worker fits them out, gets them fitted out, get ready to go. So we can turn around a shop, and once we get the keys, we can turn it around in as little as 10 days.
10 days for a fit out. Wow.
Full fit out.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And I love that as well. Find someone who does it and do it better. I think it's a great idea. I was talking to somebody today about the fact that you rarely, if you're to form a new business in QSR or any industry, you rarely have to come up with that idea from scratch. If you do your market research, there's somebody doing it, and they're either doing it well or not so well, and you can use that as a base. Really good. Love it.
That's absolutely correct, because I went to his shop, and this was around 2 o'clock, and he had a 20-minute queue. I had to queue up 20 minutes to get in the shop. And when I got in the shop, another 20-minute queue, and they had one sponge left, one cape, and they shut at 4 o'clock.
Wow.
And he goes, oh well, between 12 and 4, he does £5,000 turnover. This is good. I can do this. I can do this, and the rest is history. And after 5 years of competing, he put his hands up. He goes, look, oh, can I join you, please? You can have my 5 shops, and I want to work with you. I said, fair enough.
What a story. And I'll tell you what I love about that story as well. He was technically a competitor at the beginning, but and he could obviously see that you were doing what you were doing, and you were doing it better. Now, rather than being bitter and annoyed and angry and trying to compete, he accepted that, embraced it, perhaps, and joined you, and you grow together now.
Absolutely. And or he was with me when I was on shop 30. Now we're on shop 276.
Amazing.
And then he goes and finds them. And he just loves it. He goes, this is the most pleasurable work he's had in all the years that he's been doing this.
That's another thing. I mean, you've just said that, someone there is saying it's the most pleasurable work they've had. I was talking to my son the other day, and if you find something that doesn't feel like work, then you've found your calling,
Oh, absolutely. Because our motto at work is, you want to come to work, you don't have to come to work.
Yeah.
If you have to come to work, you're not at the right place.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was interesting because before we went live today, I said, how you doing, Sukh? Have you had a good day? And you said, I've had a lovely day. Every day is fantastic, and I love that.
Absolutely. Look, you wake up and you breathe in. I think that's a win. Right? And positivity, why moan about life? Embrace it and look forward and be happy. Because you've been happy, what more you want? Problems are going to come and you're going to have tough times and blah, blah, blah. But the way I see a smile erases all that.
Oh, I love it. I love that. And I also love the fact that the idea was sparked by the desire of one of your children to want something different. Right? And that's where that spark of an idea came from.
It works in both ways because by removing one ingredient, the egg, and because I lived in Newham, East London, which is a very high mixed ethnic area, I made the cake suitable for any religious dietary restrictions. I made it suitable for egg allergy sufferers, and everybody else just loved the taste because I made it so simple. Or fresh cream, vanilla sponge, bit of jam. What more you want in life? And and everybody loves a little gâteau.
Yeah.
And then give them the lifestyle that they want. They want it now. They don't want to plan ahead. I remember in my childhood, we had to give it now a week's notice to get a birthday cake. You walk into my shops, you've got a selection of 30 cakes. We personalize them there and there for you. You can click and collect in an hour. You get it delivered. You can get it delivered on the delivery platforms. So it's the way the customer wants.
That's amazing.
The biggest thing I think we tend to forget that without a customer, we have no business. Right. So the biggest training I give my new franchisees, the first thing I say to him, who is that walking through the door? And I get customer or blah, blah, blah. No, you're not. You're getting your dinner. Without the customer, you have no dinner. Without a customer walking through that door, you have no business. So like Mahatma Gandhi said, right, the customer is not there for our convenience. We are there for the customer's convenience. You're going to get asshole of a customer and he'd be completely wrong, but it doesn't matter. Let him be wrong with dignity.
I really like that as well. Absolutely. Because there's often a sign that's up that the customer is always right.
And that's absolutely correct. They are always right even when they're wrong.
But I quite like the adaptation. I can't even speak now. But I quite like the fact that they can be wrong, but with dignity. That's a really wonderful way because you're accepting the fact that sometimes they're right.
That non-customer into a customer. Many or examples of where we treated that customer with respect, right? Even though he wasn't respectable or they weren't, and they've been my customer for the last 10 years now.
Yeah.
And so we, even if you only give the money back, right, or refund, we've made 1,000 times over.
Absolutely. Well, look, this is the franchise show today. We are talking about why franchising. We've just heard the fantastic story of Cakebox with Sukh, and it's been a really interesting story so far. I'd like to welcome a few people who have joined us here live already. So let's pop up a few names on the screen. We've got the fantastic Jeremy Davis. He's put, "Go on, Harvey, great show as always." I like that comment, Jeremy. I'll save that so I can put that up every now and again. When I say a really nice thing. We've got the lovely Lisa Feverick with us. She's put, "Happy Tuesday, everyone." Lisa helps women with dietary advice through the menopause. Please contact her or connect with her. We've got the lovely Johnny Joseph dialing in all the way from Los Angeles. And Johnny is a franchise royalty auditor, and he's been on the show. He's put, "Hi, franchise." Is that going to franchise Phillies? I like that. Yeah. "Hi, franchise Phillies," from a sunny and awesome Los Angeles, as I prepare to relocate this worldwide franchise royalty auditing headquarters to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico for the next 8 days. Ooh.
I'm afraid, Johnny, you won't have a job with me because we don't take a royalty.
Oh. Well, look, that's interesting. Okay, no royalties. We are definitely going to get into that as a statement in a minute. But fantastic, of course, always to have Johnny with us. He also does various different audits in different franchise businesses over there in America, where all the football's happening. Who else have we got? We got the lovely Kelly Steinecker with us, coming in from Arizona. She's good morning, y'all. That was my American accent, in case you were questioning it. And I've done many live shows with Kelly. In fact, when I started doing live streaming on LinkedIn, I did that with Kelly. So and Don Cohen. So great to have you with us, Kelly. We've got the lovely Neil Newman with us.
Hi, Neil.
Oh, you know Neil? Oh.
No, I did say hi to everyone.
Excellent. That's good. Well, great to have you with us, Neil. Neil's put, "Hi, Harvey and Sukh. Great to hear so much positivity. Love it." I completely agree with that. Sukh, you're absolutely one of the most positive people I've spoken to, and it comes across in droves. So I love it. Absolutely love it. What else? Who else have we got? We have got the lovely Penny Hopkinson. And Penny is, of course, the author of a lovely book. Now, each week I put a book up because she supported me for many years, but I don't often get it the right way round. Now, will I get it the right way round today? Let's have a look. Yes, I did. Look at that. So, and if you want to get your ops manuals the right way round, then talk to Penny. Love that advert. Came up with that all by myself. And Penny has put, "Hi, Harvey and franchise friends. Lovely to join you all on a sunny summer afternoon from Stratford upon Avon." Well, it's always fantastic to have you with us, Penny, and thanks so much for joining us. Looking forward to, of course, hearing your thoughts on why franchising. We've got a couple more before we get into this topic today. We've got the lovely Joe Caruso with us. Now, Joe is a fantastic franchise expert over in America. Always advise people to connect with Joe. He's a regular to the show, and he always likes me to try and pronounce where he lives. It's become a tradition now on the show, and he gives me a score. So we're going to see how this goes today, how I do with these names. He's put, "Good day all from high above the cloudy and rainy shores of Havre de Grace, Maryland, at the Susquehanna River and the Chesapeake Bay. At Franchise Info LLC HQ for retained franchisor advisory. We are the gateway for brands to come to America." Joe, looking for...
Contact me because we're interested to come into your homeland.
Oh, There you go, Joe. That's for you, Joe. Fantastic, Sukh. Yeah, absolutely. We'll certainly put the two of you in touch. What do we got? We got Johnny coming back with Marching On Together, Sukh. And he's also put, my granny was born and my father was made in Leeds. So there you go. And I think Johnny grew up in South Africa. So Johnny is a real mixture there, real mixed bag, but a lovely mixed bag. So fantastic, Johnny. Well, look, great to have everyone with us. Again, this is a live show, as you know. Get involved in our conversation. We are talking about why franchising. We're talking about why you should invest, why you should use franchising to grow your businesses, or why you shouldn't. Let's get into both sides of this fantastic discussion. So let's get into this. So let's start off by asking, Sukh, why did you choose franchising as a model to scale your business at the beginning there?
So I opened the first shop and it was a big success. And then customers kept coming and saying, can you open a branch, a second branch or a third branch, or open here, open there? And I said, no, because it was 80% cash, 20% credit card at that time. And I said, how am I going to control all that cash? How am I going to control a staff? If they don't come in, am I going to have to go in? I can only be in one place at a time. And then someone goes to me, why don't you franchise? I said, what's a franchise?
Yeah.
And lo and below, next day I got a flyer through the door. Do you want to franchise your business?
Oh, really?
The British franchise show is on next week. Come and see us. So I phoned up, and normally they gave a maximum of 4 minutes for you to pitch your idea, or 25 minutes there. I was still talking to him. And then he made my business a topic of his keynote speech.
Amazing.
And he goes, you're right for franchising. And then I came to realize who makes the best manager? An owner occupier. If it's my money, I've invested in it, I'm going to make sure that I get the best out of it. I'm going to make sure that I get the best sales. I make sure it's the best product out. And I thought that's the perfect fit. I've got no worry about the shop or no capex. If I want to open 10 shops at that time, it was I think it was £60,000 in 2008, and that's 600,000. Where am I going to get that money from? And the franchisee does all the capex. They're going to manage their staff. They're going to make sure that it's all running on optimal. Right? I thought this is brilliant. And that's what we should do. And the second thing, how do I get a franchisee? And they go, you've got to prove the concept. You've got to open another shop, whether it's yours or a franchise store. And my brother-in-law just got made redundant. I thought, now who's a prime candidate to invest his redundancy money? So I got him to open a shop up, and that worked. If he can make it work, anybody can. And I think I've been fortunate, and I believe that we make our own luck. Young guy walked into the shop. Oh, I'm 19 years old. I'm fed up with working. Can you teach me how to make cakes? I was like, I can send you a franchise. He goes, yes, please. And he's got 5 shops now, and he's been with me for 15 years.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm going to stop you on something, because I think what you said was really interesting about making your own luck. And look, I don't think there's any proof behind this, but I do think you've got something there. I think if you're sort of heading towards something with positivity and generosity and a sense of looking after the people around you with good reason, I think those things then head towards you at the same sort of rate, and it's no coincidence that they happen.
And the thing that you got to keep in mind, that franchisee is your front of shop. They are the ones who deal with the public. They are the ones who build your reputation. So you have to reward them. They've got to make more than you. So it's always going to be 2/3 to the franchisee and 1/3 to the franchisor. Right? So we give them 60 or 60 odd percent, and we take 40%. Right?
Really
And
interesting.
because they do all the work, they're the ones who are going to put the business forward. In the background, yeah, we do it. We manufacturing, we're baking the sponge and everything, but they are the ones who are forwarding your brand. And so you have to, or you don't want to make the mistake of some franchisees which want it 50-50. That's not fair.
So 60-40, is that in terms of revenue or profit?
So 40% cost of goods to them, and they make 60%.
Okay, right, get it. That's really interesting, because you said earlier on as well, didn't you? And I'm going to pick up on two things here. One, the fact that you said that a franchisee should make more money than a franchisor. Right, that's a really, and we're going to pick up on the royalty point. But I think let's first of all talk about that your ethos of a franchisee making more money. When you say making more money, are you talking profit?
Their margins could be more than yours.
So the margin.
That's right. And so their net. So unfortunate in my business, the franchisee makes a net of between 15 and 20%.
Wow, that's amazing. That's really good.
Yeah,
and therefore, if they're making 60% of 15 to 20%, it then brings your percentage to whatever 40% of that is. Maths isn't my strong point.
Correct. Absolutely correct. And by giving that, or they will advance the brand. So my biggest franchise, he's got 30 shops. Next one's got 25. One's got 20. One's got 18. And 50% of my franchises are multi-site. And one thing I'm proud to say is 50% of all my franchisees are female-led.
Oh, wow.
Entrepreneurs. And in the whole network, we've got 2,500 young ladies who we've empowered, who at home or have got more respect because they're going out, they've got work, they are taking part, they're making their own way, and they're contributing to the household.
Yeah. I mean that's fantastic to hear. I know that was one of the goals for the BFA, and look, franchising should be inclusive to anybody that is looking to start a business and has that passion to start a business should be able to be included in franchising, I think, and I think that's fantastic to hear. We've got a few comments coming in, but I would like to go. Johnny's talking about royalties right now, and so let's get on to that, because look, we're on the subject of why franchising, and we're getting into a little bit of the nuances, but we'll continue for a little bit, because it's part of it. It's part of why you should invest in a franchise, because you're getting a return on investment. So this is part of it. So let's have a look. We've got, let's put a couple more. Oh, hang on a minute. Before we get to that, I've got a score for my pronunciation of where Joe lives. I've got an 8.2. I'm pretty pleased with an 8.2. I got an 8.1 last. No, I think it was a 7.9. So yeah, I'm doing well. I say to Joe that I could Google how to pronounce where he lives, but I refuse to. What I like to do is get his score and then work out by the score how I should adjust it. And I think that'll go on for some number of years. One day I'll get a 10 and there'll be a big celebration. What did Joe put? Joe put, oh, there you go. Excellent. There you go. He sent you an invite. So look at that. The franchise show has connected two people. So that's amazing to hear. Let's have a little look here. So Johnny's put these two comments, right? First of all, he's put 40% royalty. Nice. That's not quite correct, is it? Sukh. So the other thing that Johnny has put is, how is that different to a royalty? Let's have a look at it.
That was the cost of sales for them. So the way we work, when I first started, like everybody else who does 4% marketing and the 6 to 9% royalty, and what we found at the end of the month, they're paying £1,000 rent, but the royalty is £1,200, and it hurts. And it hurts because what have they actually got for it? What's tangible? What's physical, right? And so they try to cheat on it, right? And so straight away we thought, wait a minute, this don't work for the service industry, but for manufacturing. So we put the royalty in the price of the sponge. Okay. So we make the sponge and we offer it, and we put the price in the sponge. So at the end of the month, you paid £6,000. You got £6,000 of stuff lying in the corner.
Okay.
Yeah, it's tangible. So we're very transparent that the marketing, the royalty is all in the cost of goods.
All in the cost of goods. So you're adding a margin to the cost of goods.
That's correct.
The franchisee pays a little bit more for those cost of goods.
Absolutely correct.
The most important thing we're talking about here is you've said the net for the franchisee is between 15 and 20%.
Yes.
So even though they're paying a bit more, you've obviously done some sort of supplier deal that even with that increase, even with your profit within that, it's still going to work.
Because our business is so simple, and the margin for the franchisee is very high. So you got the same cake, for example, an 8-inch, which retails about £28. But if you put more toppings on it and you put different items on it, that same cake will retail for £40. Right. So you get a slab or a sponge, 18 by 30, which is costing you about £45, right? That will retail for £120 or £250.
Get it?
Depending on what they got. So they got the advantage of the higher margins, and even now, or even the online commission, which we charge for the website orders and everything is baked into the sponge. You mind my pun? And so that way, you know at the end of the day that if we make our money in the sponge,
right?
But you don't feel it because you ain't got a separate line saying royalty.
I get it.
For these royalty, what is it doing? Oh, we've got headquarter costs, we've got the baking costs, we've got the driver costs. But psychologically, if you're getting £6,000 of stock, there's £6,000 worth of stock there.
Yeah. But if you're still making money, yes, then you're still buying stock. On your bottom line, you're still making money. So therefore, even though you are paying something extra for that stock to cover whatever we call that, whether that's a royalty, whatever we call that, but to cover the cost of being part of a franchise brand, it feels different, doesn't it? It feels different put in that way because you're getting something tangible.
That's right, absolutely, and that's what we found early on, and so we don't get no complaints that or what are we getting for my royalty? Because that's the biggest question of my other franchise friends. The biggest thing they say, if you're in the service industry, for example, beauty or IT or something, they say, what am I getting for my royalty? They don't know the costs behind the scenes. You got a head office to run, you got staff, etc., everything, but you don't realize it. But if you've got physical stock in your fridge, you're happy.
Sure. No, I get that. Let's have a look. We've got a few more comments coming in. Let's have a look at one from Simon. Simon's put Cakebox is one of the very few franchise brands successfully listed on AIM. How has the journey been? Did you get the full support of the franchise network when listed? Interesting question. I'm not sure. What do you think of that one, Sukh?
Oh, absolutely. So we decided that how can we reward all the franchisees, the staff, all our workers, and we decided the best way to do that was to list. So we gave them 20% of the listing price, or majority of all the franchisees bought stock. A lot of our staff bought stock, and the week after we listed, sales went up because they own the company.
Get it.
And even the staff, they own the company. They may have bought £500 worth or £1,000 worth, but the actual fact that they now are shareholders and they are responsible for the success of the company, they worked even harder to make sure it's the success. They get their dividend. We've got a progressive dividend policy.
So what is stopping you briefly? What is AIM? Just explain that in a basic term for people.
It's the stock exchange, the alternative investment market. It's the junior to the main stock market.
Okay.
And so what you do on there is that you sell your shares. Anybody can buy them, and you can raise money for the business, or you can raise money for yourself.
Interesting. Interesting. That's fantastic. I mean, look, I always start off with nothing written down, right? I always say that, and it's always absolutely true. But you know what? By the end of it, I've got lots of things written down, because for me, this is a learning. For me, I'm always learning from these conversations. This is not a conversation between myself and Sukh. This is a conversation with a community. And if you have just joined us today, this is the Franchise Show. Today, we are talking about why franchising. It's been a fantastic conversation so far. We've, as ever, gone down a rabbit hole, and we'll continue to go down a few more, depending on what people say and where we go. But look, let's bring this back a little bit. We've got a few more comments, and I will get to those. But let's bring this back now. We've spoken a little bit about why you chose franchising as a model to grow your business, which has been a fascinating story. But let's now think about this from the point of view of an investor or a franchisee. Why do you think people, let's say, first of all, should choose franchising? And then why do you think people should choose your franchise? Look, without a pitch, of course, but in general.
We all are entrepreneurs. We would all like our own business, right? But how many businesses fail in the first year, right? When you start from scratch and you have to do everything yourself, marketing, accountancy, structures and systems, it's a lot. And what support you have, your accountant or your solicitor? Not a lot. So the reason that you join a franchise is because those systems are already in place, right? They've done all the hard work. And I had one comment from one of our earliest franchisees, and he goes, we get it all handed on a plate, right? We type in our order, the delivery comes to our door, right? The website is updated by you, the designs are set up there, the prices are set by you. All we have to do is serve the customer. And as long as we follow systems, we're okay. And so how many people want to get into business who haven't got an idea, who's got no idea of how business runs? You join a franchise, you join an experienced or professional outfit. And or that is the main attraction of a franchise.
Yeah, absolutely. And you used the word entrepreneur at the beginning of that statement there, and I think this is a really interesting one. I've had this conversation before, because entrepreneurs by their very nature are tricky in terms of franchise businesses, right? In a way, and I don't know if you agree with this, and you may not, and that'd be fine as well. But when you're an entrepreneur, you kind of want to do what you want, when you want, how you want. And there's sometimes a challenge with an entrepreneur for them to follow a system. Do you find that it's trying to get their head around valuing the fact that you are giving them time, you're giving them money? Because if they did all of this themselves as an entrepreneur, and they started Cakebox however many years ago, then they would have made mistakes. It would have cost them money, and more importantly, it would have cost them time. Time is the most precious thing we have as human beings, isn't it?
And this is where your screening process comes in. So when they come to when they come to our presentation, we don't do a presentation to sell the franchise to them. We do a presentation to award it to them. And so we have a question. We have we have 10 questions, and they have to select which one in 1, 2, and 3 order. And question 5 is, we will follow all systems as you say. One is, I'm an entrepreneur. Question 2 is, I can adapt and change systems as and when required, etc. And if they don't choose question 5, it's ask why. Right? And if we will change system at a drop of a hat, they're not the right candidate for you.
Yeah.
So we load all our questions are loaded towards getting to know that person and what their intentions are.
Yeah, it's really important, isn't it, to understand who you're dealing with. It's really important to make sure that, like you say, when you're asking questions, that you're asking questions that means that those people are going to be right for the business. And
Correct.
do you know what? I was talking with somebody, and I would have called them an absolute entrepreneur, right? And they were a US franchisee, multi-site, 140 locations. It's as a franchisee, but in America it's commonplace. But they absolutely valued, they didn't just accept, they didn't just put up with the fact that they had to follow a model. They completely valued it, the fact that that is in place, right? It wasn't an inconvenience. It wasn't something negative to their entrepreneurial spirit. It was a real positive. And I think you've asked the right questions there.
So my largest franchisee, he's entrepreneurial, but he's entrepreneurial in the respect that he's opened 30 shops.
Yeah.
Not that he wants to go out, and he just follows everything. You say to him, jump, and he goes, how high? Yeah. And then the second thing you got to watch out for is the prospective franchisee is going to know they can't just sit at home and let the franchisee work. They've got to get involved, and it's much as hard work as it is. It's not a license to just sit back and money coming in.
No, that's really important to put out there into franchising, which we do anyway. But franchising isn't a license to just do nothing and money coming in. Correct. It's not everything's done for you. Successful franchisees work very hard. Right? You're working hard within a system that's been proved, but to be successful in franchising, you have to work hard. There's no doubt about it. It doesn't matter what brand you're involved in. You've got to work hard, haven't you?
Absolutely. And to make it a success, when you've got 30 shops, right, and you got your area managers and etc., that you can step back a little bit, but you're still involved day to day.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of people. And the hardest thing in franchising is getting the right franchisee. But I'm proud to say, in 18 years, we've only ever closed 4 shops. And in 18 years, we've only closed 4 shops. And the decision to close shop is not ours, because we are supplying stock and we are profitable. Every shop is profitable to us. It's up to the franchisee if they want to close a shop or not.
Sorry, I've got to stop you there, because you say things that really are headliners here, right? In 18 years, 4 shops have closed. That's all. Correct. In 18 years.
Yes.
I mean, that's amazing. The other thing you've just said is every shop. You said, I've written it down, 276 stores.
To me, as a supplier, every single shop is profitable.
Okay.
Because I make a profit out of everything I sell them.
Okay. So you're not saying every single franchisee's...
All my franchisees are profitable.
Okay.
I'm just saying, to me, even if it's a multi-site franchisee, one of the shops may just be breaking even, right? But they keep it open because they're part of a network. But to me, as a supplier, I make money out of every shop.
Of course.
Every single shop is profitable.
Of course. I mean, I think it's really important to touch on the fact that the profitability of the shops for a franchisee as well, right? Now, you've clearly got a strong network. You said 50% of your network were multi-site, right? If you're a multi-site franchisee within a brand, that tells a story in itself, right? That says that was working, I want to do it again, right? Because if it wasn't working, all you'd want to do is to get to your 5-year break clause and get out, right? With as little heartache as possible, right? 50% being multi-site is really interesting. I mean, a question I often ask people is would you be happy for a new franchisee to talk to any one of your franchisees?
Absolutely. Or before they become a franchisee, they can go to anybody in the network and talk to them.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And
what we find, our franchisees, they go, Is it a possible a competitor? Is it possible thing? And they'll say they'll only answer what they want them to hear.
Sure.
Yeah.
Look, as the CEO, as the founder, the statement you've just made that you're happy for a new franchisee to speak to any of your franchisees. 276 stores. They can walk into anyone. And you're confident that, look, this is the other thing, right? Franchising is not always a completely happy story. There are challenges, there are things to overcome, there are good times, there are bad times, right? But whilst you go through those good and bad times as a franchisor supporting those franchisees, you are supporting them, you are feeling that with them, right? And I think that's really interesting. And look, because they're paying their, whatever we want to call it, right, royalty, whatever the name for it, because they're paying that when they're buying things. If they did go through a difficult period, they're buying less, so they're paying less. Okay, it's not to do with selling less; it's to do with buying less, and there's a difference there. But that's a really strong statement to make. That a perspective when we're talking about why franchising. Right.
We're fully transparent, and we find that honesty is the best policy.
Yeah.
Right. We don't want an unhappy franchisee.
No.
Right. If you've got an unhappy franchisee, they bring the whole mood down. Right. We'd rather have a franchisee who wants to be there, not has to be there.
100%. I mean, I've often spoken about the secret to success in franchising, and it wasn't me. It was the lovely John Hewitt from Jackson Hewitt, 5,000 franchisees he signed. And he said the secret was happy, successful franchisees. And that moves on to happy, successful customers, or at least happy customers, I suppose, a successful transaction. But yeah, I mean, look, you've nailed it there. That's what you're aiming for, but you're not trying to hide it. Everyone talks about transparency, but you're quite happy for people to talk to your franchisees, get in there, get it, go to a shop. You've got 276 of these shops across the UK. It's very likely that you're going to have a shop within a relatively close distance of where you live as a franchisee. We've got about 3 minutes left until the last part of today's show. It's been a fantastic conversation with Sukh from Cakebox. It's been really enjoyable for me. I've written down about 6 pages of information here because it's a really fascinating story.
One question you haven't asked.
Sorry?
One question you haven't asked.
Oh, go on.
Is how do you get the franchisees?
That was a question I was going to... No, it wasn't actually, but answer the question you come up with. Go on.
We're very fortunate because the first investors were Indians. Yeah. And we Indians, what we do, or as Asians, we see a good thing on it and we jump on the bandwagon. So I've got such a cluster of franchisees which are interrelated. Their cousins, their brothers, or their sisters, etc. So they've seen that their cousins are successful. So okay, let's jump on the bandwagon and we'll do it as well. So we've been very fortunate. We've done a couple of franchise shows, but then we found we didn't need to. It was all organic. It was all word of mouth. It's all proof in the pudding. So we are we touch wood that we haven't had to work hard to get new franchisees. And then our biggest pipeline is existing franchisees. So it's a circle which renews itself all the time. And so if you can get into that position, or where there's word of mouth, it's so much easier to get new franchisees.
I love that. I mean, it's a question we've often asked about franchisee recruitment and how you do it in all these different ways. But look, if you're doing it right, if you're transparent, if you let people talk to your network, and if your network us doing your selling for you by saying, look, we've had a good experience. It was, everything that we were told is happening. We're making money. We want to open another shop. Even if you're not a cousin, a brother, or a friend of that person, you'll go, okay, wow, yeah. And you're right. You want to jump on it. Because if someone is doing it and they're doing it successfully and they've told you a good story and they've told you what their experience has been, you'll want that same experience, that same positive experience. And doesn't mean to say it's not going to be hard at times, of course.
We're in the privileged position where we reject 90% of all applicants.
Wow. Yeah. 90%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. They're lucky 10%, eh? We have nearly come to the end of today's the first part of today's show. There's a few comments that we haven't got to, which means Sukh is probably going to have to be a returning guest. I always like to ask people on air, but hopefully you'd like to come back again, Sukh, because it's been a really
problem at all.
Fantastic. Let's have a look, because oh look, what did Joe say? 10 is a brilliantly aggressive score. We all must have goals and dreams. Absolutely. Well, maybe I'll look. I went from 7.9 to 8.2, so it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It was a great comment there from Penny, but we're gonna have to get to that on Cakebox number 2, which is going to be coming up in the future. So we have come to the end of today's show. Now, this has been an interesting one, because at this part of the show, I turn my camera off, but I've done this twice where I haven't turned my camera off, and people have seen the top of my head. You're not allowed to see the top of my head. So let's see if I can actually do it today. The camera is off. I can take my hat off, and I can put this beautiful hat on and turn the camera back, and there we go. Look at that. Oh, I haven't got it quite on straight, but it looks quite cool like that. And of course, this part of the show is brought to you by PJ Murphy and Sons, bespoke British hatters. There's my lovely friend Paul Murphy. So if you like to get a beauty like this one, then speak to Paul. Now, this is also the part of the show where we stop talking about franchising for a little bit, and we find out a little bit of information about Sukh. It's also the part of the show, I'm always nervous about this, where he gets to ask me any question he fancies and get his own back on me. But before he does that, let's choose you can choose between these. Have you ever met anyone famous, Sukh? Have you got a claim to fame, or have you got some sort of crazy, unusual hobby? You can pick any of those.
Well, no claim to fame, no meeting anyone famous, and have I got any? I think I'm boring, really.
I don't think you're anything of the sort. So what do you do when you're not doing your actually, I imagine with
I can teach you how to make a curry from scratch in 13 minutes flat.
13 minutes?
Yes.
That's
including prep.
Okay.
So a nice chicken curry from scratch in 30 minutes flat.
Okay, well, I think we should do a special one-off. Maybe I'll do a cooking show on this.
No problem at all.
That's fantastic. Well, I might get the secret for that. I promise I won't reveal it. So, well, look, this is also the part of the show where you get to ask me any question you desire and get your own back on me. Now, look, you don't have to do it. Let me get away with it. Or now is the time.
Well, it's quite an obvious question, isn't it? I'm sure that you're fed up with having such pale skin.
I'm fed up with what?
Having such pale skin. And you want to be like me, tan.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, I tend to burn a little bit when I'm out in the sun. That's why.
If he's born again, which nationality would you be?
That's a really interesting one. That's a really interesting one, because someone asked me where I would like to go in the world as well.
Nowhere left for me. I've been everywhere.
You've been everywhere. That was a question I used to ask, and I might ask you that next time. Where would you recommend to go in the world? But look, I'm not avoiding your question. I am going to answer your question. I've always been fascinated with Japan and the gardens of Japan, Kyoto. It's always been an area that I'd love to visit. And you know, I always like how they do the sort of the flower arranging, and so maybe in another life I would have perhaps been Japanese, maybe. So there you go. There's an answer. There's an answer for you. I don't get a lot of time to prepare for these things, but that was my answer for today. Look, Sukh, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. It's been a really enjoyable conversation. Thanks so much for being part of the show today.
You're welcome. And again, anybody who's a prospective franchisee who needs any advice, or a prospective franchisor, just get in touch. No, have a 10-15 minutes, no problem at all.
Oh, that's lovely.
I love to see people getting successful, and they need a bit of help. Or we've been through the ups and downs, we've been through the mistakes, and why not give them the benefit of our experience?
I love that. I love that. There's a few people in the industry that very much want to share their experiences for the greater good of franchising and for people in business. And I love that. So we're put a good contact within the comments here. And if you'd like to get in touch with Sukh, then please do that. I know without any doubt that you're going to learn a huge amount from Sukh. So I already have in 50 minutes along with everyone else. So it's been an absolute pleasure. Sukh is going to stay behind and have a quick chat to me afterwards, but it only leaves me now to let you know what's going to happen next week on the Franchise Show. So next week on the 14th of July, we are going to be talking about franchising in the USA. And I wanted to do a Bruce Springsteen impression there, but maybe I'll save that for next week. And also born in the USA and franchising in the USA don't quite go. But anyway, please join us for that. That is going to be Tuesday, the 14th of July, 5:15 GMT, 12:15 EST. And until next time, my lovely friends, take very good